Welcome to the Rocket Rewind, the show where we get together and talk about things that matter, things that are interesting, and shit that might just blow your mind. Yeah, they're our opinions, and you don't have to like them. We might not like yours either, but feel free to share them in the live chat. This is America, where we have free speech, cancel culture, Karens and Darrens, all working together in such super sweet harmony. Yeah, right. Sometimes the things we talk about might help restore our faith in humanity, but all too often it's going to be stuff that might piss you off like it does us. Make sure you have your grown-up panties on and come join the conversation. Oh yeah, and make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications. You don't want to miss this weekly dose of provocative discussion. The Rocket Rewind, Sundays at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's get into it. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. What is going on?
Hello, everybody.
Yes. Hello. We've got a special guest in the studio today. We've got Adam's pup. What's the dog's name?
His name's Wally.
Wally. What's up, Wally?
Mm-hmm.
I know
Wally.
he can't hear me. Let's see. I see Taylor's over on Facebook. What's up, Taylor? Good to see you. I see Chris Tarbert. What's going on? Where's everybody at? Shit. Oh, you know what? I think I changed something with the chat, and it might have reset the chat. Yeah, it might have. All right, if you're over there, let us know by saying hello. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at the same time. One thing to keep in mind, though, is on Twitter we cannot see comments. So if you want to comment, if you want to be part of the discussion, you're going to have to hop over to either YouTube or Facebook where we can see the comments. Taylor says he's eating some Domino's pizza for dinner tonight. Holy hell. Yep, there we go. It reset. It was delayed a little bit. I see D Midnight 1971. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Nicholas Peel is here. Jorge Zambrano, what's up? Taylor wants to know what you're eating, Adam.
I'm eating white chicken chili.
Oh, look at that. White chicken chili. Hell yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So I had something sent to me a while back that we weren't able to get to, but I figured since we're going to be talking about the new constitutional carry law in Alabama, we could work this one in this time. It was sent in by Brooklyn Nightingale, who is over there eating some white chocolate chip cookies. Look at that. What's going on, Brooklyn? Good to see you. Marcy B, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. There's P. Hoffman. What's up? Good to see you. But this is from the Batusai's channel. Hopefully I pronounced it correctly. Let me add it to the screen here. So the Batusai is he's a First and Second Amendment auditor and activist. Those of you that don't subscribe to the Batusai, make sure you go over there and check that channel out. It's got some interesting videos. He's been arrested for some bullshit before, and this one here is actually a pretty wild one. We're going to kind of skip through some of it though, but I wanted to give you an idea. So this is titled "Almost Park Open Carry Tasered and Arrested Full Video." So I believe this. I think I've seen this one where he's actually arrested. It's actually a pretty good video. Dustin K had red beans and sausage and rice. Oh my God! You know what? I haven't had that in a minute. I'm gonna have to have some of that for sure. I like to get. Hey, Mr. Wizard, what's up? I like to get the Tony Chachery's boxed mix of that. It's actually pretty damn good as far as a box mix is going to go. I like it. I like it. Sick merch. Yeah, you like it.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Adam and I couldn't catch up. Adam wasn't feeling good some this week, and we weren't able to touch base. But I'm running down there tomorrow to get him his. He has a hat and a shirt and one of these sexy things. Let me full screen myself. Hold on here. Boom. See, look at that. We got shirts, hats, and mugs. Thanks to Steve. Yeah, he's got on the Rocket City News Now shirt, so that is close enough. What's up, Michael Tingley? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I'll catch up with Adam tomorrow and get him his stuff, so he'll be able to match. We'll be the triplets, the three amigos. The Three Stooges, maybe. Maybe it'd be closer to the Three Stooges. What do you think?
This guy.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at this video from the Batusai here because he does get arrested here. So my understanding is he is carrying a firearm here, but it's open carry, which is supposed to be legal. And this is not Alabama, by the way. What state is he in? I'm drawing a blank. This is from 4 years ago. It's an older video. I cannot remember where he is actually, but anyway, we'll take a look at it. Who's Curly? Steve. Okay, so this is in Texas. This is Almost Park, Texas. Now, this now all of a sudden, now that I realize this is in Texas, this is even worse because come on, it's fucking Texas. Who doesn't have a gun in Texas?
Everybody's got a gun in Texas.
Yeah.
I thought when you moved in and got your driver's license, they asked you if you had a gun, and if not, they gave you one.
Right. And they supply you with the ammunition too, I think, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think.
Better keep that shit in the holster in a taqueria, though.
Stay face down on the ground. Stay down on the ground.
broke the law.
Stay down on the ground.
Have I broke the law?
Oh, this isn't
Stay down on
the Batusai though. This is somebody else who gets arrested.
Oh.
What
are they arresting for though?
For carrying an assault rifle.
Carrying an assault rifle.
Yep.
And that was a charge.
But that's the thing. It's legal.
Yeah. I will.
The Second Amendment applies to anything.
Once again, have I broken the law?
Stay down on the ground.
Do you have a firearm out? Okay.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground, man. Get on the ground.
What kind of guns you got? That's nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice, don't it?
Hell
I was trying
yeah.
to figure that out.
Get on
It's
the
got a
ground.
foldable stock on it. It's folded. He ain't got it in his
Does you
hand.
have a weapon?
I spoke to your chief yesterday.
You guys are right, Gordon.
Yeah, everybody's out here. They're like, oh shit. They're like, this is like the Wild West in Texas. It's a standoff in the middle of the street.
Draw.
Taylor says Houston, Texas Police Department also has black cars. So they sit here. They're over and over again. They're having these. They're hollering at him to put his weapon down. I mean, it goes on for quite a while. And there's other people standing there filming. This guy's got a pistol on his hip. These cops are like, I don't know why they're really fucking with him, right? They should have just walked up and been like, hey, or watched him from a distance for a minute or something.
I think it's a little shady that they just show up and just tell them to get on the ground without, like.
Well,
I
these
mean-
guys do that. They I think they purposely go around trying to get a response.
It's got
Yeah.
to be what it is.
So
Brooklyn sent us this video to look at and talk about, though. Thank you, Brooklyn, for that. There is a link to a Google form in the description down there. If you have a video you want us to look at and talk about, feel free to submit it, and we'll see if we can fit it in. Hey, BC Gaming, what's up, Brandon? Good to see you. This is Almost Park. Taylor. I'm not sure how close that is to Houston.
Are you Renee?
We have 2 units there. We have a unit there. There's a guy behind that Mercedes there with a handgun. And we have almost parked there another officer.
Holy fuck, man. They got cops everywhere.
I get the road shut down.
You're the only one threatening people, officer. You're the only one.
You already asked if I was going to be violent. I am not. I am not going to shoot anyone. I am not a terrorist.
Are you the police chief?
I am an American citizen.
Are you
I
the
will not
police
get on the ground or disarm myself for not committing a crime.
Are you the police chief? No, we're not getting on the ground. Get on the ground. We're not getting on the ground.
Here we go.
Dude,
All
there's
right.
no lawful reason for him to get on the ground.
So this guy just identified himself as the police chief. They asked him if he was a police chief, and they said yes. Hey, Sean Chasm, what's up? Welcome to the stream. You are just in time to see an unlawful arrest happen for someone open carrying in Texas. Now, this was from 4 years ago, though, so y'all keep this in mind.
You have a license to carry a handgun? He doesn't need a license to carry a handgun. Get back. Get away from him. You're interfering with the duties right now.
You have no duty to assault a law-abiding citizen.
Hey! Get on the ground. You're not doing anything.
Oh.
You're back.
Hell,
We're back. Come on. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. I wasn't even a threat to anybody.
They just see that through his camera.
Yeah, through his camera. Now, okay, so let me interject here. All right. Did the police have a lawful reason to handcuff these gentlemen? I'm not sure. That's the question for the courts. I would say no. And I understand them being pissed about, getting stopped or whatever. But okay, there's several people walking with guns in town. The police are going to come. Some Karen or Darren is going to call the police and, and show up. Hey, look at there. There's Corey Earlywine, y'all. What is up, Corey?
what's up, brother?
There you go, Wiz. Wiz says they need Walker, Texas Ranger. He'll settle this. That's right.
Yeah.
But now here's my thing. Here's me playing devil's advocate, right? Once the police attempt to go hands-on with you, at this point, if you try to pull away, the guy in the yellow shirt here, I guarantee you, it was just a detainment at first. Now it's going to be an arrest for resisting arrest, which it sounds odd to me that if you're not trying to arrest me, how can I get resisting arrest? I'm not resisting arrest. I'm resisting detainment. Anyway, the courts will side with the officers on this one, and he will be charged with resisting. Was the taser deployment necessary? He had a pistol. I mean, once somebody is not complying, the officer's main goal at that point is keeping that pistol from coming out of his holster.
I think he jumped the gun on it, though.
Well, I think the whole thing is jumping the gun. If it's legal to carry a fucking firearm, then why are they ordering them at gunpoint to get down on the ground? I mean, there needed to be a crime committed. And I'm going to tell you something. We're going to start seeing this shit in Alabama. You mark my words. Once we go over this new law in Alabama that took effect on January 1, you'll see what I'm talking about. We miss you too, Corey. We miss you too. Well, Dustin, you do have a very good point. Dustin says it was a good tase, and at least they're not beating them guys up. You're right. At least they're not beating them to death. But some of this is escalating because of officer safety. These guys do have firearms, so non-compliance with a detainment is going to make the officers do some things like this. They're not going to give them a lot
of wiggle room.
Right. Mikey B, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. So, I mean, I think that there probably would have been a better way to approach from the officers, but you also have to understand. Right. Yeah. Not tearing his camera up. But now too, you don't know what kind of call they got.
Right.
Right. Did the officers get calls that these people were pointing guns at people? You know, did they walk into a business with their firearm that has a sign that says that they can't carry a firearm? You know, there's a lot of behind the scenes things that just aren't covered in a video like this that could have come into play. I think overall, though, it's legal to carry a weapon. Law enforcement should kind of be trained on how to de-escalate that a little bit better. What's up, Southpaw? Good to see you. Welcome.
I spoke. You and I spoke right now. You are all. That's right. I can go to jail for up to 10 years. No crimes committed, and y'all attack.
No crime has been committed except by y'all.
Ready to shoot people. It's not the first time.
What did they do? For a lawsuit there, officer? Because you just smacked my head into the ground. And you know damn well, because you and I spoke on the phone. You and I spoke on the phone, Chief, so you're doing this.
Now, what was the point of that?
Go back one more time and real quick. I want to see that again.
You know damn well, because you and I spoke on the phone. You and I spoke on the phone, Chief, so you're doing this.
So he wasn't resisting. He was sitting there. Yeah, he was waiting to see what they did. Had they come over and eased him down, no problem.
Yeah.
But no, they had to slam him down. Do I think it's safe to taser because this guy was not listening? I understand why they tased him at that point. I think once he pulled away from the officers, I think that was a bad idea. You don't argue an unlawful arrest on the side of the road. You have to wait and argue that in court. It's easy to say that. I mean, I would like to think that I would hold my cool and be calm in a situation like that. But at the same time, I mean, you don't want to sit there and let somebody beat the fuck out of you or something either. So, I mean, I don't know. I think had he went ahead and just turned around and they handcuffed him, there'd have been no tase. However, there was no tase required for this guy. He fully complied. He put his hands behind his back. He let him handcuff him. He knelt down over here. He wasn't resisting, and then they slammed his ass down on the pavement. That was a little wrong.
Yeah, that added some dollars to his lawsuit.
Yeah.
Hey, you might want to read those papers. There's the law on that paper right there.
Call an ambulance for that guy that's bleeding. CJ, pick up the head. He's bleeding.
Bounce his head off the pavement.
And what are you arresting me for? You arresting him? What are you arresting me for? What are you arresting me for?
He's going limp.
I would too. I'd do exactly what he's doing. I'd be limp as a damn noodle.
But you know,
carry some dead weight.
But you know, I've seen some jurisdictions that will call this resisting arrest.
Going limp?
By going limp. Because you're making it more difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that hold up though.
I think it's bullshit. But tell me this. Tell me how you think this would go, because we've been to court. We've been to court in municipal court, city court.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you get a resisting arrest charge in Huntsville from Huntsville PD, and you go limp, and they charge, and because you go limp, they charge you with resisting arrest. How do you think that's going to go in municipal court in Huntsville?
Oh, you'll get found guilty. You have to appeal it to the circuit court.
No, yep.
And I think circuit court will probably dismiss it, but you're getting arrested by a municipal officer, and you're going to get sent to a municipal court.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know. I know. Yeah. I mean, I mean, I've had people do that with me before, and I mean, you just why do the extra paperwork? Just drag them to the fucking car and put them in.
Right.
So this right here shows me these cops have no respect for the Second Amendment or these guys' rights.
There's another. What the fuck is that? Dragging along. Oh, that's the taser.
Yeah, the taser cartridge.
That's the taser cartridge dragging along behind him. And he's then picked up all these guns and all this shit. And this is the chief of police now. Taylor said this is close to San Antonio, Texas. But yeah, I think this is probably a Second Amendment violation. Actually, I would say Second and First Amendment because they also interfered with them filming in public the duties of law enforcement. Yeah.
That's his camera still laying in the road, ain't it?
So these cops took their guns. Now, how easy is it going to be for these guys to get their guns back?
It's not going to be easy because right now it's evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Evidence.
Yep. I'm still trying to.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not giving this cameraman shit.
Yeah. Even though he's on a public sidewalk.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, me too.
I mean, they really
he's close, man. He's close. I'm surprised they're not pushing him back.
Yeah.
That is a nice fucking gun, by the way. Look at that.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's pretty.
Was that an AR?
No.
I can't see it.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's a regular AR. What is that? SKS?
I think
No,
so.
definitely not.
No.
I used to have an SKS.
Well, it's got a wide wrapping on it. I mean, it's pretty thick top to bottom right there.
Yeah.
That's modified. I mean, it's not stock. Oh, hey, that's I know him. I watch his stuff. News Now, Texas. News Now, Houston. That's News Now, Houston. That's I think his name is David. News Now, Houston. He's been arrested a lot too.
What a dangerous business.
Man, they're beating their guns all the shit.
No law is broken. You're attacking American citizens for nothing, for no crime. No crime.
Watch, they're going to tell him to get out of the roadway, even though they got the road shut down.
Nothing surprises me.
I know I'd be pissed off if that was my stuff. They might end up with a reason to arrest me.
Yeah,
Slamming
goddamn.
guns around and shit.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants a scraped up fucking gun if they're, a gun collector. David Warden, that's it. David Warden. That's right. Jorge said he thinks it's an M416. I don't think that. I don't think it's an M4. But it does have a big wrap on it.
It looks like one of them cheaper. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I don't think it's an expensive gun.
Mr. Wizard says for the chief of police to do this, it says something. This probably isn't the first time. My big thing here, my big problem with this is, oh wait, hold on. There's other people getting arrested here. Hold on, let's back this shit up. We're about to have some more good shit. My big thing here is, it's legal to carry these firearms in Texas.
Yeah.
It's been legal to carry firearms in Texas when it was illegal in other places.
Well, and rifles are different too. You don't have to have a concealed carry for a rifle.
Right. And then their pistols were holstered on their side. So this was all open carry. There was no concealed carry here. So no permits required. But now let me tell you, there's some weird concealment laws, and depending on how they're interpreted, like in Corey wants to know what you're eating.
Cherries.
He's eating some cherries. He said he had him some white chicken chili tonight too.
I did.
Yeah. But I mean, because we're gonna start seeing some of the same shit in Alabama, y'all. We're gonna start seeing the same shit. We're gonna go over that law here in just a minute.
Well, there's already been some questions about it too.
Yeah. I want to see what this woman gets arrested for.
I know.
God damn. You drive like a bat out of hell next time.
Well, and that Jeep wasn't giving up no damn space.
I got your bond. Wait, why is she getting arrested?
Arrested because they're making up shit on us. They probably filed.
It didn't actually show why she was arrested.
Charges on her like they've done others.
Yeah. Officer, these cops.
All three of these officers.
Oh my God. That poor cop just walked into a shitstorm, man.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
here's what I don't understand, because I've seen this several times before. This is Almost Park Police Department.
Mhm.
So is this like park police? I don't get why San Antonio is showing up here.
It may be like a suburb of San Antonio.
Well, yeah.
So if they're short on cops and stuff like that, San Antonio may bump over and help them.
But now here, it would be say it was Huntsville, say it was a suburb of Huntsville. The sheriff's department would show up. I'm not. I don't know. It's confusing to me. I'm not sure how the jurisdictional lines run with that.
Well, I'm sure it's like Alabama. You know, everybody thinks just because like a Huntsville City cop is a Huntsville City police officer, their jurisdiction primarily stays inside of Huntsville, but they can go out in the county and they can go out through anywhere in the state line. They have the arrest ability, or authority to arrest, and it's probably like that in Texas. If I'm right, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know too many states that don't operate that way.
Yeah, Mr. Wizard, you might have. This is actually a 4-year-old video, but it ties in with what we were talking about better than last week did. So I wanted to bring it up.
Arrest them! They're felons. I need you to arrest them, or we will. Well, I don't know if we will, but somebody will. Sorry, somebody will. I mean.
They've attacked U.S. citizens with no crime committed. Okay. Are you okay?
We've got
attacked them, tased them. One of them is injured, and they've denied him medical attention.
Okay. So they were just over there.
Open carry. That's it. That's it.
Medical attention, drug him off.
Like San Antonio could overrule.
We got it all on video. Okay. Y'all mind if I get your information so I can have y'all as witnesses?
Oh,
okay.
No.
Y'all mind if I get y'all's information? There we go. There's that ID crack again.
Yeah.
Which in this one, I mean, you know, it's kind of one of those things where
he's like, shit, what have I been sent to?
This poor fella, man. This poor fella.
I gotta feel sorry.
Be more like, yeah, I mind.
Yeah.
It's all right. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking.
You arrest him, I'll give you my name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you a sworn statement right now. Start with the chief. Start with the chief. He's the taser guy.
He's the one that taser.
Absolutely. You start with him. When you put him in handcuffs, I'll give you my ID. I'll go down the station, whatever you need.
If you put him in handcuffs, I'll give you my ID and anything else you need.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. That's
really.
That's
you know,
David
Texas has a lot of constables and stuff. A constable could come do that. I wouldn't have called San Antonio. I'd have called either the county or a constable.
Yeah. Lord have mercy. Will you get copyrighted? Yeah, you never know. You might. Depends on what gets picked up audio wise. If music gets picked up on there, you could. You just got to be careful.
Okay. I would have to get my supervisor on that one, okay? Because
Why don't we get a sheriff's department?
We got nothing time.
Valencio, you're number one. Number one fucking coward. Bully with a badge. That's all you are. Bully with a badge.
He's been informed of the law several times. Doesn't care. He's been admitted on that he doesn't care.
San Antonio is probably like, we're gonna get the fuck out of this.
Yeah, run them off before they put you in cuffs.
That's what he was
Fucking
saying.
coward.
I mean, that's what you think. Oh, let's get the fuck out of here. That's what they're like. Get the fuck out of here. No part of this shit. Don't put my name on any of this.
Hey, officer. Are you requesting a supervisor right now? Yeah. Okay. I just have a few questions. I'm with the media. Okay. So I just have a few questions for the supervisor if it comes.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
About to flee the scene. That's a crime.
You got an injured citizen that you've hurt.
Yeah, that's the one thing. They put him directly in the back of a cop car and didn't have an ambulance or nothing come.
Yep.
Did y'all see? I didn't see one.
Nope. I didn't either.
Didn't offer medical help.
Not in this video anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how it was edited or anything.
True.
But you know, one sec.
I'm sure it might have been edited in their favor if it was edited.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. If I was going to edit one of my videos to either be in my favor or somebody else's favor, it'd probably be in my favor.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got this really bad tickle in my throat, y'all. I'm gonna have to be quiet for a second. All right, good Lord, I don't know what's going on, but I can barely talk. It's not good to lose your voice on a talk show, for fuck's sake.
You okay there, bud?
Whew, I don't know, man. Something's happening. Brooklyn says a fire truck does come from them for him, but they tell him to leave.
What's up, Corey? How you doing, bud?
Really?
What's up, Brandon? Good to see you on your second channel. Thank you. All right, let me try to full screen this. Jesus Christ, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read this. Y'all give me just another second. Let's take a look at something else real quick before.
You want me to read it?
No, let me. I'm gonna show one more thing. There's a SWAT raid that happened in Huntsville. Let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Let's see. Did I save it? I think I saved it somewhere else. Holy shit. Okay, so this comes from WAFF 48, which is local here. They had some exclusive video of a SWAT raid that happened. This was right at or just a few minutes after midnight on January the 24th. And a while back we had some, oh shit, wrong one. We had some robberies of some Regions banks. It was like 4 robberies, right? And they tied them back to this dude. What was his name? It was something Jones, Lawrence Jones. And of course, y'all know the FBI gets involved in bank robbery cases. So the FBI SWAT team goes to this house.
Megan.
What's up, Megan? Good to see you. The FBI SWAT team, with assistance from Huntsville PD and Madison PD, because this started as a Madison PD case. The first robberies happened in Madison. Anyway, it's like this joint task force deal with the FBI and everything. They go to this apartment of his ex-girlfriend, and they knock, but I would almost classify this as a no-knock warrant because it's pretty it's pretty wild what they do. But this happened at Westlake Apartments on January the 24th here in Huntsville. So let's take a look at it real quick, and I'll try to get my throat cleared up. Oh, you know what? There's going to be some other shit. Hold on, I forgot. There's going to be some ads on this shit. Let's see. So this is how the FBI SWAT team decided they were going to raid this house, or this apartment rather.
But since this occurred, everything just been downhill.
Travolta Garrett says his family is dealing with immense psychological trauma after police raided their home last week. Exclusive ring footage shows officers moving in, banging down the door at Westlake Apartments, breaking the porch light, and then destroying the doorbell camera immediately, ending the recording. Another angle from the neighbor's camera shows tactical teams pulling up and yelling for the family to open the door. You can then see Garrett, his wife, and 11-year-old grandson being led outside.
No socks, no shoes. No.
So here's the key to this, right? It's midnight. All right. They're in their night clothes, probably sleep. They bust their light out on their porch, and then they rip their Ring doorbell camera off so that they can't see where the officers are. So all that, the light being knocked out, the doorbell camera being broken, that's all for officer safety so that they can't see where they're at. Now, I get removing cameras and shit if there's a standoff situation, because at that point, the people inside have escalated things, and it does need, the police do need the element of surprise. But these people hadn't had a chance to give them problems because they didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
What's up, guard dog? What's going on?
Well, I can understand them taking out the light, because you don't want to be backlit by a light when you're trying to do an entry. You don't want to have your silhouette being the only thing somebody sees if they want to do you harm. Because all they do is shoot your silhouette.
I mean, I can get why they're doing it, but you'll understand in a minute why I have a bigger problem with this raid.
No shirt. Just boxers.
A search warrant was handed to the family 2 hours later, saying police had probable.
All right, so here's the search warrant. Probable cause. That, and this has got to do with, they're looking for the robbery suspect, of course. And we can't see the whole thing here, but this was an actual search warrant, which they got 2 hours into the search. Now, this is an apartment. Why it takes 2 hours to locate somebody in an apartment is beyond me. But anyway, they got this search warrant in their hands 2 hours after they were pulled out and handcuffed.
Cause to search the home. Huntsville police were assisting the FBI task force in locating 55-year-old Lawrence Jones. We've since learned Jones was arrested in connection to 4 Regions bank robberies in Madison and Huntsville. Jones' ex-girlfriend lives in the home, but the family says they are not together and had no knowledge of the robberies. Jones was not inside. On top of dealing with the mental trauma of the raid, the family now has another issue.
So this is the ex-girlfriend's apartment. You know, the ex-girlfriend lives here. Hey, what's up, Stacy? Good to see you. God dog, welcome. There's Jason Everett. What's going on? Oh shit, you're in the hospital? Man, I hope everything's okay. But here's my thought process on going in somebody's house as law enforcement. Someone's house is their castle. Right. Yeah. This is, I mean, the Constitution guarantees that we're to be secure from unreasonable searches and seizures.
Yeah.
And that includes our house, our property. When I'm out standing on a street somewhere and my Fourth Amendment is violated, of course, it's not right. But when your Fourth Amendment rights are violated in your home, that's a whole different thing for me. And my issue with this is, all right, they're looking for a robbery suspect. All right, that's fine. This all happened a week or so before this. It's not like they chased him there. They didn't chase him there. They had reason to believe he might be there. I get it. Ex-girlfriend, you know, you're going through, you're talking to people, you're trying to figure out where he might be, who he hangs out with, whatever. That's cool. But do some fucking surveillance, right? Get with the apartment complex. Set up somebody in those apartments. See if this dude's coming or going. Get an idea for who all is in that apartment before you bust down a door at midnight, right? Because guess what? January 1st, people packing pistols without a permit is legal in Alabama. And what's going to happen with something like this is somebody's going to bust in somebody's door at midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. They're going to fire at the police because they think they're going to be broke into because the lights are out. They can't see shit. All they know is somebody's breaking their door down, right? So, in my opinion, not doing due diligence on this search before it's done puts the officers in danger too, right? Because what if this man is trying to defend his wife and kid, thinking he's getting burglarized? So
He would be in the right then.
Well, no, he wouldn't. He'd get found guilty for shooting a police officer.
Well, they should have knocked on the door and presented
I'm with you. I'm with you. But that's
I don't
that's
know.
not how it works in reality.
No, but there was an incident like this that happened in Florida, I believe, where they had a search warrant for a house, and the guy they had the search warrant for was not there, but there was another occupant in the house, and that occupant shot and killed a cop. And of course, they charged him for it, but he got found not guilty. Or they dismissed the charges or something like that.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, and that's great that they found him not guilty. But how much work did he miss? Did he lose his job? Right. You know, did he end up getting evicted because he couldn't pay rent? You know, there's a lot of other things that go into play, and I get that you battle it out in court, but sometimes something like this can fuck up somebody's life.
Yeah.
And every officer that's getting ready to go on a raid like this needs to understand that the moment you enter somebody's house and you put them in handcuffs and shit, you really fuck up their life. You've got to be right. You've got to be right. There's no room for mistakes. This is my house.
Well, they did,
you know.
You remember that Breaking Bears United? They done another episode recently. It was very similar to that scenario where they go in a house, but the person sleeping on the couch, completely innocent to the situation, wakes up with a SWAT or somebody coming in their house, draws a gun. They engage him and kill him.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he got shot. He was on the couch. Yeah.
Yep. So it happens. Unfortunately.
Corey.
Mr. Wizard has a good point. The FBI are involved. They could have had surveillance set up in an hour. It took them 2 hours for the search.
Well, not only that, it was a state warrant. I was wondering why they got a state warrant, not a federal warrant.
Well, the investigation was being headed up to begin with by Madison PD, is my understanding.
Hey, Rye. Welcome to live stream.
What's up, Rye Bread? Good to see you, brother. Welcome. Corey says he can shoot down the hallway from his bedroom at his front door. There we go. Welcome back, Dustin. So now here's where, remember how I said guilty or innocent, once the cop's into your house and stuff, there's things that's already been done. They already got a busted light that may have to be repaired. The Ring doorbell camera is busted up. It's going to have to be replaced. Maybe the door frame and all that.
Yeah.
God damn, I don't know what's going on. I guess my allergies are killing me with my throat. But here's the other thing. These people are renting an apartment. Listen to what happened to them.
Got less than 20 days to find somewhere to stay for something we didn't do.
Garrett's wife, Sharika, says they were hit with this eviction notice the day.
All right, so Westlake Apartments gave these people an eviction notice. Said they got to be out by February the 24th. And their lease is being violated because on January 24th, the FBI and local police arrested a visitor at your home for bank robbery. Video shows the SWAT team at your unit 801 where Lawrence Jones Smith was arrested. But wait, there's more.
Arrested there.
After the raid, claiming Jones was arrested at the residence. However, Jones' arrest report says he was caught in Harvest. Attorney Russell Crumbly, who was...
So there you go. He wasn't arrested at that apartment. He wasn't there. You know how they'd have known he wasn't there? You know how they could have known that? Set up some surveillance for a little bit.
Could have.
They found his ass in Harvest. I don't know. Yeah, nobody was arrested, Megan. Nobody was arrested.
Not that else anyway.
And I mean, these people are going to be homeless now. So shame on you, FBI, for fucking this up and fucking this family's life up. And shame on you, Westlake Apartments, for jumping the gun and not getting your shit right and evicting this family, you know? I've got some papers to serve tomorrow and Tuesday. I'm probably going to be close to this point at some point. I may swing by there and see if I can touch base with them and see if they want to come on the show and explain just how fucked up their life has become now that that this was done wrong to them. No promises, because a lot of people don't like to get on camera, but I may stop by there and speak to them. And I'm all for, you know, the dude robbed banks. He needed to go to jail. I'm with you. I got it. I'm 100% behind you. However, you got to do it right. You got to do it right. Because here's my thought process. Okay. I put myself in their shoes. Let's say my daughter's ex-boyfriend, who for some reason can't keep his ass out of jail anyway. Let's say the sheriff's department, the Madison County Sheriff's Department, shows up here at midnight, busting my fucking door down, knocking my light out, and ripping my doorbell camera off the thing out there. The motherfucker don't live here, right? That's why I'm saying you've got to know, you know, everything law enforcement does can affect somebody's life, and you've got to remember that. That's one of the things. How many times did we talk about that, Adam, when we were in asset protection? How what we are doing is going to affect somebody's life. At that point. So
that's why some of them don't want to come back.
Right. And that's also why we couldn't make mistakes. Right. We couldn't accuse somebody of shoplifting if they didn't shoplift, because why? Because their freedom gets taken away. And they can come argue it in court, but in the meantime, they're locked up for something they didn't do. These people, including an 11-year-old boy, was brought out at midnight to a SWAT raid when he hadn't done anything wrong. And none of the people in this house had done anything wrong. Now, did they have reason to believe the guy was in there? Maybe. You know why we don't know? I'll show you why we don't know. Because of this part down here. Well, first off, according to the family, search warrant was received 2 hours into the raid, stating that police had probable cause to search the home. It was officers with the Huntsville Police Department assisting the FBI task force, and they were looking for Lawrence Jones. Now,
that's a pretty loose probable cause, though.
Yeah.
Ex-girlfriend.
Right.
Got a new man in the house. Like, that's some pretty damn loose probable cause.
But
I'd almost challenge that warrant and see if that. I don't know if the appellate court overturned that.
I don't think the woman that was on this video, I'm not sure that the woman that was talking in this video
was the
ex-girlfriend. It doesn't say that for certain. It's not 100% clear. But here's the reason why we don't know any other information. This is why I'm telling you, law enforcement, city attorneys, attorney generals, all you people in Alabama that had this body cam footage. This is one reason why it's a bad idea, because you look like shit in this video. You look like total shit. However, of course, the news media, 48. Let me put this on the screen. They reached out to the Madison Police Department, but it said the investigation is ongoing and no further details will be provided.
Damn.
So let's put up a big ass word around this, and we ain't gonna tell you nothing else.
We're just gonna say nothing so it'll go away.
Well, sometimes transparency can make you look better.
Yeah. I don't think they care. They just wait it out and it'll eventually go away.
Yeah, unfortunately, but in the meantime, this man and woman and 11-year-old boy are going to be homeless on, let's see how many more days we got. today's the 5th. So they got a little less than 3 weeks. They're going to be homeless, trying to find a place. And I'm going to tell you, they may be building apartments and houses and stuff like crazy up here around Huntsville, but trying to find somewhere
none of
at
them
the
cheap.
last minute is hard and it's expensive.
Yeah, that ain't nothing cheap anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
Not in Huntsville.
I'm with you on that, Megan. Megan says no child should have to go through that period. Now, but here's the thing, okay? If the dude was in the house, then the search warrant's valid, and they go in and they get the dude. Oh shit! My monitor just tried to cut off. So, but the key is he wasn't in the house, and he hasn't been in the house. He's an ex-boyfriend.
Right.
Did they have reason to believe he was there? I don't know. Madison PD,
I wonder if
tell us
I
about
kind
it.
of wonder if that address was listed like on a I was trying to find him on his arrest record, but I couldn't find anything. But if he had been listed on like a previous like bondsman, like a bond where they bonded him out using their address or something like that, but I couldn't because it was Lawrence Smith or something, wasn't it?
Let's see. It's Lawrence Jones. Lawrence Jones. Let me see.
I'm looking at the last name now. I had Smith.
Yeah, let me.
Because they arrested him afterward. Let's see.
Hello, John Daynard.
Okay. This is all public record, so I think I can show it on here.
Yeah, you should be able to show arrest.org on here. Let's see. Hey, this won't drive my life. I wonder if that's him.
Lawrence Smith Jones. Yeah, here we go. Robbery. Yeah, this is it right here. Booking date 1/24 at 5:29 a.m. So it was the same day after they figured out he wasn't there. Let me put this one over on. Let me put this over here.
Sit down real quick.
Damn it. Okay, there we go. So robbery, violation of probation, revocation. So it shows his booking date was the 24th.
Is that enough?
At 5:29 a.m. So they located.
That tells me that tells me they had multiple addresses they were hitting.
Yeah. And I mean, I get it. You gotta get the dude off the street. He's robbed 4 banks. Now there was a second person arrested in this too, but he had already been picked up for something else in Madison. So they actually served his warrant in the jail. He was already arrested for something else. So his partner on 2 of the banks got charged while he was already in jail.
Yeah. Robbery first.
Yeah, that's right, Stacy. They were on the right album, just the wrong song. You're right.
One way to put it.
Yeah.
What's going on, John Daynard? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Man, this is gonna be a tough show for me to get through, y'all. My throat is seriously acting up. So let's go ahead. Let's get, just in case we have to cut this short. Let's get to the constitutional carry in Alabama. So the constitutional carry in Alabama, what that means is beginning January the 1st this year, new laws went into effect where you can now carry a concealed weapon on your person without a special permit, where before you had to have a special permit that you had to go get from the sheriff's department, and all that stuff. Well, that also extended to your car. You could not have a weapon ready to go, or a handgun at least ready to go in your car. It had to be unloaded, and the gun and the clip had to be separated, and they had to be outside the reach of the drivers. A whole bunch of bullshit involved in it. So if it was in your car, it was considered concealed. If you didn't have a permit, you could be in a bind. So this actually amends 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 9 different statutes in the state of Alabama. This bill does. So it's, and this is kind of a summary of it, right? But I'm going to go through where they actually made the changes. This is 13 Alabama Code 13A-11-7. And it deals with disorderly conduct, right? And this is where it talks about having a weapon. The mere carrying of a pistol, holstered or otherwise secured on or about one's person without brandishing the weapon in a public place in and of itself is not a violation of this section. It used to be if you had a pistol in public, or firearm in public, it could be possible for disturbing the peace or disorderly conduct, rather. So they changed this. Now,
well, when they had those riots when they had those riots downtown in Huntsville, after the George Floyd thing, there was actually a guy arrested and charged with that for bringing like a weapon into.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, ATL Transparency News, what is going on? Big win for weed smokers. You can carry and buy weed now. Where at?
You can't do that. Not nationwide that I know of.
Yeah, it's not legal.
If you have a carry permit, if you have a carry permit and then you want to get a medical card, you have to turn in your carry permit. It's federal law.
Really? Well, they're just now passing some medical marijuana stuff in Alabama. But here's the thing: don't get excited because it's not smokable marijuana.
Yeah,
it's only oils and pills. Yeah. Yeah. Don't get excited. We ain't gonna be able to burn none down nowhere.
Yeah.
So
and
is it legal?
Is specific element for it too?
Yeah. Is it legal in Georgia now? I'm assuming ATL is Atlanta. I might be wrong. Hey, what's up, John Wayne? Good to see you. So of course you can't pull a firearm out and wave it around and shit, or it's disorderly conduct, of course, or could be, they could charge you with multiple things at that point. Oh, I haven't seen that case yet. I'm gonna have to look that up. ATL Transparency News says the judge ruled in the Supreme Court that the state cannot restrict you anymore
We're gonna find
on marijuana.
I saw an article about that earlier.
I'll have to look that up because I can guarantee you the federal government's been trying to keep it illegal all this time because they can't tax it. It hadn't been taxable.
They also have said that I forgot where that was and what court that was ruled out of, but it was a 3-panel judge court, so it was a federal court, but they ruled that they can no longer safe keep weapons even if somebody is accused of domestic violence.
Really?
So that changed.
Yeah, because we used to, if we had domestic violence, I don't know. I can't remember what circuit that was out of, but they ruled that it was a violation of the Fourth Amendment rights to keep or to confiscate and keep a firearm from somebody accused of domestic violence. So,
I want to know.
We used to do that though. We used to, if you got charged with domestic violence, or we were charging you domestic violence, we would take your firearm and put it in evidence for safekeeping until your case was settled. And they just that ruling pretty much would do away with that. I wouldn't be able to take the firearms and put them in safekeeping.
Wow. Well, now as far as the legal marijuana, I do want to look at that case. That may be a good topic for next week. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, I'm kind of with Stacy on that. Alabama will still be like, no, bro. Nope. Not here. It might be legal in the other 49 states, but not in fucking Alabama.
ETL, if you're pulling that up, go ahead and post a link for us in the chat if you wouldn't mind.
It's probably you might have to copy paste it though, Steve, because I think it's going to auto hide it with the link from a non-moderator. Yeah. Mr. Wizard is a supporter of medical marijuana. Well, let's don't get off topic too far though, because I want to cover this. That medical marijuana, that is definitely a show in and of itself. But yes, I have noticed a lot of places around here, it's like misdemeanor, like small possession amounts. The cops aren't really fucking with. They might make you tear it up or whatever. Like I've got a video where I on my channel entitled "Last Dance with Mary Jane," where in Athens a girl had to grind up her weed on the ground. Yeah. Yeah. So let's see, and then 13A-11-50, a person who in violation of this article carries a battery on his person or in a vehicle, pistol, firearm, or any other kind shall on conviction be guilty of a Class B misdemeanor. See, they removed a lot of this stuff. They even had air guns. Air guns.
So
BB guns.
BB guns.
Yeah.
They're airsoft guns is what they are.
Yeah, you could get charged for that as well. They removed a lot of that kind of stuff, right? 13A-11-52, it says it originally said, except as otherwise provided in this article, no person shall carry a pistol about his or her person on private property, not his or her own or under his or her control, unless they had a valid permit. They removed the permit requirement, right? Now, there's some questions about this part, though. Unless the person has the consent of the owner or possessor of the premises. Well, how are you going to get consent? Like, let's say you go into a store and they don't have any signs that say no weapons allowed. I think what's going to happen here is if they tell you, hey, you can't have a firearm here, then you have a duty to go back and remove it from your person before you can come back in. Otherwise, they can probably get you for something at that point.
Or you can just leave.
Yeah, just leave. But let's see. Of course, there's still going to be limits. You can't take it into a courthouse. You can't take it into a police department. You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Post office. Yeah, post offices and things like that. So those kinds of rules are still going to be in effect. But the biggest change is you no longer have to have a permit to carry a concealed weapon.
That's cool. I like that.
In the state of Alabama. Now, but here's the thing. Here's where did you see what he sent there, Steve? Are you able to see it?
No, I haven't seen it. I don't see a link. I don't see nothing in here from him.
Yeah, it's not showing in the YouTube chat. I think YouTube blocks it unless you're a moderator there, ATL transparency.
He can message it to me in YouTube.
I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it.
Well, if nothing else, well, sure enough, we'll look it up because it is something I'd be interested to see more about. But yeah, if you can, let me see. Can I? I don't know. I can't. Yeah, it doesn't show. Normally, if a link is pulled out, it'll show for moderators, and you can still drop it down and see what they said, even though it doesn't show for everybody else. But this one ain't. This one ain't showing shit. Let me see.
You for a bit.
See if that works. Steve, if you don't mind, can you grab those links once they're posted and put them in the staff Discord channel so we can go back and look at them?
Yes.
I want to see that. Where are you, ATL Transparency? What area, what state or whatever? Is it Atlanta? Am I assuming that correctly? You should be able to post it now, by the way. So what are y'all's thoughts about the concealed carry permit going away in Alabama?
I love it.
I personally like it.
What problems do you see with it?
Like there was the question on if you could carry it on school grounds and stuff like that. That's already been brought up and talked about on the news. And I kind of, you still have restricted areas where you can't carry, but I do like the fact that I've seen more people carrying now that that's gone, and I personally like that. But
okay, he is in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so I did
the
ATL. I did understand or assume correctly. let's see. There's another part in here.
Thank you, Wiz. I got that too.
It also protects you from some employers. Your employer can't tell you can't have a firearm in your vehicle anymore.
Yeah. You know, Bill.
Wait, what? Run that by me again.
In Alabama, an employer cannot see when we worked for Belk, there was a rule that you could not have. It was in our employee handbook. You could not have a firearm in your vehicle on their property.
Yep.
However, here was we got them. We got them. ATL. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Here was my way of thinking though. The parking lot that we parked in did not belong to our store. It belonged to Bridge Street.
Right,
So it technically wasn't on Belk property. Did I have a firearm in my vehicle while I worked for Belk?
Hell yes.
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, I tell you what, dude, and I've always looked at it this way. There is no employee handbook on the planet in this country that can trump the Second Amendment.
But
the Constitution is it. There is nothing that no company, in my opinion, can try and override the Second Amendment. I'm not going to accept it.
I agree with you.
In the private, I like that.
I agree with you, but
it's
yeah,
still
it's like
private
Adam was saying, private versus public, whatever, and people can decide what to do on their private property. Alabama is also an at-will employment state, which means you can walk in one day and they say, "Okay, well, you no longer work here. Why? Just don't want you working here." Don't even really have to have a reason. And so, that's, I mean, is it wrong? Yeah. It's my fucking car. If I want a firearm in it, I should be able to have a firearm in it.
Yeah. But that's when you turn around, you get an attorney and you sue the hell out of him for wrongful termination and violate the Second Amendment.
I can't tell you how many times I got threatened in Tuscaloosa about, well, I'll see you when you get off work. Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be your worst day.
Well, when you're busting people for shoplifting and shit, I mean, not having a firearm to protect yourself is dangerous. Now there is another section here that I wanted to find. Shit, it's further up somewhere, but there's going to be some confusion about this, and I wanted to talk about it. Fuck. It's got to do with, are you required to let an officer know that you're carrying a pistol?
Whether it's required or not, it's always a good idea too. It's always the best idea too.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. However, the wording in this, is interesting, and I wish I'd have remembered exactly which section it was in.
I think it should be. Personally.
Let's see. Damn it, where's it at? It's motor vehicle. You know how when you find something, then you can't find it again?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Happens every single day when I'm at work, when I put my screwdriver down or something. Where the hell I put it?
Damn it. Because it actually talks about it, about whether you have to tell them or not. Damn, y'all, I can't find it. But it basically, the way I read it, is it says if an officer asks you if you have a weapon concealed, you have to tell them. It doesn't say that you have to volunteer that information to begin with. Although, like Adam said, I believe it's a good idea to inform them, because let's say you're reaching for your driver's license or whatever, and then they see your firearm and they think you're reaching for the firearm, then you're fucking shot. You know?
Could be a bad thing. In Pennsylvania, you're required to let the officer know if you are carrying.
I got pulled over and had mine on, and
that's a good idea.
License and pistol permits. There you go. He was like,
"Okay, here we go. This is it. Good idea, ATL. Fuck, I forgot this was searchable. Jesus Christ, I swear to God, I've read a PDF at least once in my lifetime and used the search function. I just drew a blank. Thank you so much, ATL. I appreciate that. Holy fuck. They're over there trying to tell me, hey, dumbass, you can search this thing. So here it is. It is in the main section. Yeah, it's a subsection 3. Any person who knowingly possesses a pistol or firearm concealed on or about his or her person or in a vehicle occupied by the person and who is asked by a law enforcement officer operating in the line or scope of his official duties whether he or she is armed with a concealed pistol or firearm, shall immediately inform the law enforcement officer that the person is in possession of a pistol or firearm.
Mm-hmm.
So the law reads, you don't have to tell an officer you have a concealed weapon unless they ask you.
I like to do it anyway.
Well, it's, in my opinion, it's best practice.
Yeah.
Too.
If I get pulled over, not only do I present my driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, but I also include my carry permit.
Well, and of course now, you know, carry permits aren't required in Alabama, but let's say I go into Georgia. If I go into Georgia, the moment I cross that state line, I'm bound by Georgia law.
Well,
however,
is this going to be nationwide?
No, this is Alabama.
No. Oh, just
this is
okay.
This is the state of Alabama.
Okay.
So, but if I want to be able to carry a firearm in Georgia concealed, Georgia will recognize the Alabama concealed carry permit. So I would still need to go get a permit, but it's not to carry it in Alabama. It'll only be to carry it in states that that reciprocate the Alabama license, which generally is going to be any state that borders us. And then there may be some others that also would recognize it, but generally it's always the states that border. So if I had a firearm on me and it was, you know, concealed either on me, hell, even open carried on me, or if it was in my glove box or stuck inside of my seat, whatever. If I get stopped by a police officer in my vehicle and I've got a firearm, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hello, officer, you know, I just want to let you know I have a firearm in the car. Do you want me to step out and talk to you so that I'm separated from the weapon? At that point, I've done everything I could to eliminate the officer safety issue, the am I a possible threat issue, them seeing a gun at the last minute and shooting me because they thought I was reaching for it. I've done everything within my power at that point by letting them know, hey, I've got a firearm and I'm willing to step out and walk back there and talk to you away from my firearm. However, here's where I think we're going to run into some issues. Let's say you tell an officer that and they're like, well, let me get your weapon. No, I'm not. I'm not going to give you my weapon, but I will separate myself from the weapon for you. Because I mean, you put yourself in the officer situation, right? Officers get shot pretty often, unfortunately now. And,
but you know, that could happen with a permit too, though.
Well, yeah, they don't. Well, and here's the other thing, right? I like to be a law-abiding citizen. I like to try not to break the law. If I break the law, it's going to be on accident. But let's say I'm a criminal. Do I give a fuck if I can carry a weapon concealed or not with a permit or not?
Not at all.
No, because I'm a
follow
criminal.
any laws.
I don't give a shit. I was probably already packing one 5 years ago. You know, that's the thing. It's like, you know, these laws here, they don't do anything for the criminals. The criminals are going to do what they want to do anyway.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about following any law.
Right. What this does is this gives us back our constitutional protection for the Second Amendment in the state of Alabama. I should be able to carry a weapon on my hip. I should be able to carry a weapon in my pocket. I should be able to carry one in my car. I should be able to carry one strapped across my chest.
On your ankle.
you know, on my ankle, wherever. It's my weapon, my body. I should be able to do what I want to with it, right? As long as it doesn't become a threat to someone else. So this only helps, or this this is only designed to help strengthen our Second Amendment here. Now, sheriff's departments don't like it because they said it was going to be dangerous and gun crime was going to increase. But what it really comes down to is there's a lot of money from pistol permits.
There is.
Well, I'm buying.
ATL, yeah, you can get a federal carry permit. That's right.
Yeah.
No, how do you acquire a federal carry permit?
If you've been through an A-Post Academy, the first George Bush, when he was president, signed an executive order allowing all law enforcement officers, as long as they had been through an FBI qualification course and went through an A-Post, like for Alabama, an A-Post course or a state law enforcement course, you could carry anywhere in the country. And they actually challenged that in New York and arrested police officers that went up to New York to help during after 9/11. And they arrested several police officers up there and charged them with a felony.
Wow.
And
try to go to New Jersey and do that, or try to go to Chicago.
Well, those police officers lost their jobs because of it, because they were charged with a felony. They could no longer carry a gun. So therefore they couldn't work. But they were up there for their departments helping in the whole cleanup and all that, you know, it was a FEMA situation.
Yeah.
And that's who they were there with, was FEMA. And they were organized to do certain tasks. But they
See,
they arrested several police officers in New York and tried to prosecute them. Well, the police officers were found guilty, appealed the case, won their cases, and then sued the city of New York. Well, after they got through suing the city of New York, they didn't need to work anymore. So they really didn't give a shit about going back to work in law enforcement because they were millionaires.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was signed under the first Bush.
And so here's, I mean, I get it. When you make it easier for people to carry a weapon, you make it easier for bad shit to happen. I mean, I get that argument. Yes, and accidental shootings. I get that argument. But we have the Constitution for a reason. Yes. And the Second Amendment says we can have our firearms. It doesn't it says, I mean, let me pull it up because I want to get the exact language.
I always heard that the Second Amendment was there in case the first one failed.
Well, I've always heard the Second Amendment's there to protect the First and Fourth and all the other amendments for that matter.
Right.
All right, here we go. Let's pull this up. Let me go full screen on this. So here you go. So the Second Amendment is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I mean, what? So shall not be infringed.
Well, see, and they don't get. Let's see, the argument is they try to say that there's a term in there for regulate. Yeah, but regulate in those days meant something different than it does for us. It meant regulate as in to maintain a well-regulated militia is what it stood for. And they like to argue, say, well, you can get it's regulate as in to limit. And that's not what it says.
Well,
and they clarified that with that one line, shall not be infringed.
Yeah, I mean, the shall not be infringed means I shouldn't have to buy a permit to go get a weapon. I also think it doesn't include getting a background check. Yeah. It sure as fuck doesn't include having to register it with the ATF or any local law enforcement agency.
Pistol braces.
But I mean, do I want to live in the Wild West where everybody's packing guns and shooting people in the street? No, I don't.
I don't feel the need to either.
Yeah, but as the world progresses, do I feel like the need for someone to have to protect themselves is higher? Yes, I do. You know why? Because we're losing good officers left and right because of all the other bullshit that they're putting up with and getting associated with bad officers. But then too, you know, I think the divide, unfortunately, is getting bigger between the citizenry and law enforcement. I don't think that gap is being bridged very well from either side. You know, I don't think that. I'm a big fan of activists and, you know, constitutionalists and auditors that go out there and they do these audits, and, you know, these First Amendment audits at courthouses. And I mean, I've had my share of bullshit. And I mean, that's necessary to spread some awareness and that kind of stuff. But then too, it's like, it keeps happening so much that it's like, it's not getting through to these officers that if you see somebody with the camera, shut the fuck up and leave them alone, because this is not going to go well, and you're going to end up on the internet unless they're really doing something wrong or disruptive, or, you know, threatening people, or don't get involved.
But that goes back to what we were talking about last week. Like, police officers have been villainized so much and shit on that all the good ones are either retiring out or getting out.
Yeah.
Because they can go find something better to do. Because like the guys that I worked with, there were several of them that had engineering degrees. There was one that had an accounting degree. Like, he didn't have to be in law enforcement. He could go be an engineer and make 6 figures a year. He didn't have to go make crappy ass money.
Yeah.
And carry a gun and arrest people and risk losing his life every day. He could go do something totally different, but he chose to do law enforcement because he enjoyed it, and he enjoyed it. Enjoyed the public.
Law enforcement, law enforcement is definitely not something that you go into for the money. If you go into law enforcement, it should be a calling.
Yeah.
To serve your community. If you go into it so that you can be a badass and fuck with people, you're going into it for the wrong reason, and you're the kind of people that get good cops hurt and shit, and that get innocent people locked up and stuff.
It's like the Memphis being the example. Like, those 5 cops last week should have never been cops. And I think that they're lowering their standards to meet a quota or to just fill a position, and not going for quality candidates.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got there.
Well, I mean, like we talked about when we watched the whole Memphis stuff, you know, those officers were fucking nuts. How did they pass a mental eval? And a couple of them, how did they pass the physical part?
That's what I'm saying. They're lowering their standards. They're not having to pass mental evals. And they're probably scooting some through on the physical part, because some of those guys were so thick, I guarantee you they couldn't run 1.5 miles in 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, and it's like, or were they in shape enough when they first hired on and just got out of shape? I mean, I don't know, because there's a couple of officers with Huntsville Police Department. I'm telling you, there's no way they would pass the physical qualification now. I've seen them; they're big fellas. I couldn't pass the physical qualifications. I'm so damn out of shape, you know. ATL Transparency News said he's had some issues in Cobb County, Georgia. The sheriff said they couldn't use video in the court complex under orders of the sheriff. Challenged that and won. Well, good on you, buddy. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm a real big believer in our constitutional rights. I'm a very big supporter of good law enforcement. I mean, you know, we need law and order in this country. We don't need to be living fucking chaos, right? And I'm all for good officers, but I also think that, you know, Alabama is one of the worst states out there when it comes to transparency for law enforcement. They don't have to give you body cam footage. They don't have to give you dash cam footage. You get shit like we talked about, you know, tonight with this.
But they're consistent. The thing about Alabama is real consistent. Like, they don't show you the good or the bad. They don't show you nothing.
Yeah, they ain't show you shit. But see, you get shit like this right here. No further details will be provided. Okay, well, I mean, so here we go. We got this story where this family's evicted because the cops busted in the wrong house. You know, so I want to know. I want to know why. I want to see the body camera footage from it. I want to know how this family was treated. I would really like to know what kind of probable cause they had this dude was there. But you know what? None of that's going to come out.
Well, the other video that they did show of them coming out, like they weren't being overly aggressive or anything. I mean,
No, they
they did
weren't.
allow them to walk out.
Yeah.
They clearly said they didn't have any weapons because they were in their underwear and stuff.
Yeah.
They did allow them to walk out, and they weren't overly aggressive. So
I mean, well, on what we saw.
On what we saw.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they were going to be aggressive, they would have. It'd have been start to finish.
Yeah, but those cops didn't do any due diligence at all.
Well, and that guy wasn't small. Like I think if they were going to be aggressive, he would have been the first one in cuffs.
Yeah, he's a pretty big fella.
Stand, so.
I mean, and I get it. All right, so let's say the sheriff's department does show up here and they do have a warrant to so you know, I get them having to detain people, whatever, you know. But don't tear my shit up. Don't tear my shit up when you come to my house.
Oh, man,
knock on the door and give me a chance to come talk to you. Don't come up in and like you own this fucking place because I own it. Right.
Yeah.
Come up in here and show me some respect. I'll show you some respect. However, unfortunately, most people don't do the cops that way. Right. Cops show up at their house. They're going to slam the door in their face. They're going to be like, fuck off, you know, whatever. And of course, you know, they're going after an armed robbery suspect. They have to assume he's armed. What's that, Steve?
Well, they have to assume he's in there. You know,
so
I don't know what information they had, but it was credible enough to go get a warrant. So
maybe 2005, I got a house in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. I was in the house not even 10 days, and it was January, and there was a shitload of snow outside, probably about 3 feet of snow. I get a knock at the door. I'm like, who the hell is this? And it was just me and my dog. We were just hanging out, watch TV. I open up the door, and there was a Douglas County sheriff sitting there at the door, and I'm like, what's going on? I open up the door, and I'm looking at him, and there was another guy down around the corner from my garage, and he's, had his gun drawn. There was another guy behind a bush, and I'm like, the whole house was surrounded. What the hell's going on? I looked at him, what's up? What's going on? He goes, is so-and-so here? And I'm like, never heard of him. I just moved in. He goes, you just moved in? And I'm looking at the guys, and I'm like, hey, guys, come over here. I had everybody come in the house. I'm like, come on in the house. It's too damn cold outside. I ain't staying outside to talk to you guys. I brought him in. I offered him coffee, anything I could, And they wanted to see my ID. I showed them my ID in my living room. I'm like, yeah, I just moved in here, man. And come to find out, they were at the wrong house, at the wrong address, on the wrong street. And it's like, well, I appreciate you knocking on the door instead of not, breaking the door down. I really appreciate that.
You'd be surprised at how easy that is to happen. Because there's a lot of people that do not clearly mark the fucking addresses. And that is the most annoying thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
When you're trying to find a specific house and they just have a mailbox out there with no damn numbers on it. And you're playing a guessing game.
When I'm out serving legal papers, I run into that all the time, man. You can't tell what address is what. And I always think to myself, I'm like, holy fuck, I hope your house don't catch on fire because the fucking fire department ain't gonna be able to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope you ain't getting broke into. There's somebody robbing your ass.
Yeah. See,
It'll take a while.
this right here in Georgia, all police documents are public. Look at that.
Yeah.
Alabama, why are we ass backwards? We have one of the worst open records laws in the entire country.
You know what would make me think the reason why is because the state of Alabama is corrupt.
Well,
that's what would make me think that.
I would say it's just they're more they're really pro police.
They're very pro police, and they think the police can do no wrong. We don't want to end up on YouTube. Right. But the problem is, it's like, but you work for the people, and you need to be accountable to the people.
I don't know if you remember that video a couple years ago where the Tuscaloosa Police Department ended up on national damn news because they went to an open house party at an apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And that kid tried to shut the door in his face, and it didn't go well. They ended up arresting a bunch of people and all that stuff. All those police officers ended up fired. But you know what? They were literally there and following the law. Because there is an open house party law in Alabama. You can't have an open house party. It was clearly an open house party when they got there, and everybody got belligerent. So a lot of people went to jail. And they ended up dropping all the charges against the people and firing all the cops.
Yeah,
even though the
well,
cops were just following the law
because
and policy.
it went viral. And see, and I get it, right? Is body cam footage gonna get cops in trouble sometimes? Yes. Is body cam footage gonna exonerate cops sometimes? Yes. But you know what? It's there for a reason. If you can use body cam footage against a citizen in court for a criminal offense, that citizen should be able to use that body camera or in theory, that citizen or another citizen should be able to use that body cam footage that was recorded from your interaction to prove whether you're a good cop or a bad cop and put it on the internet if they want to.
Yeah.
It should go both ways. You shouldn't be able to use
and
it
I
against the
think-
citizens, but the citizens not be able to get it themselves.
But attorneys will try to get body camera video for your entire career. They want to make sure that you were good from the start to the current date.
That's too much, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's
what
too
they
much.
do.
Well, but you know what? But there needs to be a scope and
A limit.
context to everything, right?
They
So,
should
like,
be case specific.
well, like for example, when I had that issue with the HPD officer, right, and I had my body camera on, his body cam was running. I never got to see his body camera footage. Of course, I also didn't request it. They might have let me come and view it. I don't know. I didn't request it. I had my own. I didn't need it. And which is a good point. ATL transparency makes right there. It's another good reason to always record the police if they're going to hide their body cams. I'll always record your interactions with law enforcement in Alabama, y'all, because you're not getting their body camera footage unless they want to give it to you.
Yeah.
Period. Now, I mean, I've got body camera footage that I've recorded from when I've been out and about and stuff. I'll have my body cam on, and there's been some conversations that I've had with law enforcement that if I wanted to be an asshole, I could post it online. I can make them look bad. They said some things they probably shouldn't have said. We had some conversations we probably shouldn't have had. But you know what? That's not what my body camera footage is for. My body cam footage is there to if something wrong is done, it's going to be captured on that camera. It's going to capture if I say something I shouldn't have said. It's going to capture if the officer says something they shouldn't have said. That's what the purpose of it is. And I'm not going to go out of my way to make somebody look bad. And there's certain officers that I come into contact with on a pretty regular basis. Madison County Sheriff's Department traffic Tango unit. What's going on? Those fellas, I know that we have a mutual understanding, and I know my limits and I know my bounds with those guys, and I'm respectful, and I'm they're polite and respectful and professional with me. I've been out at many of their scenes, chases, traffic accidents, traffic stops. And those are some of the few guys that I would turn my body camera off when I have just an unrelated conversation. We're just shooting the shit. We're just talking, because I want them to feel comfortable to talk without being worried that that I'm trying to get them to say something. Because let's be honest, when I'm out there and an officer's asking me questions, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is he attempting to produce probable cause on something? I mean, every conversation you have with the police officer, whether you want it to be or not, it's on the record. And if you say something wrong, or they get a hint of something different, or if your words are slurred, or if your pupils aren't dilating correctly or something like that, you might have just gave them probable cause from a consensual conversation. And so, I'm mindful that it's probably a bad idea to turn my body cam off. But at the same time, I do it as a gesture to those guys to let them know, hey, I'm not trying to fuck with you. I'm not trying to get you in a bind. Let's have a good open dialogue. Let's talk. Let's shoot the shit. I appreciate what y'all do. I'm gonna hit the road and get out of your hair in a minute, and that's it. Will says Delta 406. It's not for Yeah, it's not 406. All right, Stacy, take it easy, brother. It's Delta 256. And that's in Athens. That's not the Madison County Tango unit. All right, Stacey, take it easy, brother. Appreciate it. But it's one of those things where I think it's sad that I have to wear a body camera. I do. When I should be able to get a copy of the body camera from the police department.
Well, some people are very unpredictable, and especially if you're going to a house serving papers, you don't know what those people are going to do.
Yeah.
So
well, at that point, it's there for your protection.
I've had one incident in Madison City. I lived in Madison, where I got pulled over, and the cop was just a complete dick. He didn't write me any tickets, but he was just a fucking dickhead. I mean, there was nothing that I could do that was right. And I was handing him my ID. I handed him my pistol permit because I was carrying. And I mean, he was just giving me shit. And I looked at him and I finally said, like, look, I've been through the same training and the same shit you have. You don't have to be a dickhead to me. You can either write me a ticket or fucking let me go. But one way or the other, I'm not going to sit here and let you degrade me anymore. Or you can call your supervisor because I'm sick of hearing your fucking mouth. And he was like,
beautiful.
Took back by it. Well, and I had my friend with me and he had a Texas ID, a Texas driver's license. Because he's from Texas. And he was like, well, do you live here now? And he was like, yeah. He was like, well, you realize you only have 14 days to get your license switched over to Alabama? And I was like, well, first of all, he's a passenger. And then two, you probably just informed him of it. So there's no need for the attitude.
Yeah.
And his partner that pulled up to back him up was standing on the passenger side. And he was laughing about it. Like, I openly laughed. I was like, this is enough of this shit. And he finally backed off. And he went to his car for a minute, ran us, and made sure we didn't have any warrants, and brought my shit back to me and said, be careful and slow down. And I wasn't even going that fast.
Well,
I think I was doing 40 and 35.
All right, ATL, appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. We may actually talk about that on the show. And if you want to come on and talk on the panel, join my Discord, man. And because I can add more people to the panel. Yeah. Well, so here's my thought process, right? So you ran into an asshole cop. Now, anytime you see that cop, you're going to automatically assume it's human nature. You're going to automatically assume he's going to be an asshole again.
Yep.
Right. So
if he's still there.
Right. Yeah. If he's still there, but and I say that because I know which officers are cooler to talk to than others.
Yeah.
That the ones I've come into contact with so far.
Yeah.
There's going to come a day. There's going to come a day where I'm going to fuck up, and the Madison County Sheriff's Department's Tango unit, their traffic enforcement unit, traffic safety unit, is going to catch me speeding or something. I'm going to be doing something wrong. But, at that point, the way I treated them is going to be important.
Yep.
Now, am I going to record that traffic stop? You goddamn right. I'm going to record that traffic stop, and they know this. Because we've had that conversation, that one day they're probably going to stop me, and yes, it's going to be recorded. Let's all not look like assholes, I'll try not to be an asshole. Try not to be an asshole. Let's have a nice traffic stop on video. But if I'm speeding, they're within their thing. Am I going to admit to speeding when they stop me? Fuck no. I'm going to act like I don't have a clue what they're talking about.
Right.
But I'm not going to be an asshole. Because there's nothing to be gained from it, right? I mean, I know if I'm speeding.
Yeah.
It happens, I have to use my cruise control so I don't go too fast,
Yeah.
But you got to be careful in certain areas of Madison County, man. It'll go from 50 to 35 like that in a heartbeat. And then all of a sudden it jumps back to 45. And then it's like, hey, motherfucker, it's 25. It's like, you never know.
Yeah. And he's sitting like 10 feet inside that 25 mile an hour sign.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, the day's going to come, that I'm going to get stopped by those guys. But I can tell you from all of the officers that I've come into contact with so far, they're the ones that are more open to just sitting there and shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Where, with HPD or Madison PD or, most other officers I've come into contact with, most of them want to haul ass real quick. Now the other night, when I live streamed for a little bit before my cell service dropped, and I was in Athens after my cell service dropped, I did talk to those two Athens PD officers for a little bit, and it's the same thing. I'll shut my body cam off for them. We can shoot the shit, on just normal man-to-man conversation or whatever, and they're cool about it too. Is Athens PD eventually probably going to catch me with a speeding ticket somewhere? I mean, chances are, as often as I'm over there, if I fuck up in speed, I'm going to get stopped.
Yeah.
But the way I've treated them in the past and the respect I've showed them in the past is going to come into play.
Right.
And the same goes the opposite direction. The way they've treated me in the past is going to come into play when they walk up to my car.
Yeah.
And because if they've treated me shit in the past, how do you think I'm going to receive them when I'm getting stopped?
Right.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's when you're out there, you got, whether you're an officer or a citizen, you got to treat people with respect, because you're going to get what you give.
Yeah.
You're going to get what you give. And I just, at some point, eventually Governor Ivey is going to see my tweets about this body cam shit, and maybe something to change. I don't know. I think it's for the betterment of the entire state that law enforcement's held accountable, and sometimes law enforcement is protected by that body cam footage. There's good and bad, and I mean, you got to clean it out.
Wasn't that challenged in the Darby case? Because
they did. Yeah, they didn't want to release it. The judge ordered it to be released. Yeah.
Maybe
HPD
there's a
didn't
way
want to
you
release
can get a hold of that chief and have a talk with that chief about the body cam footage.
What chief?
Oh, the chief of police.
Oh, well, I mean,
there's a new one.
Yeah, you can request it. I've got a form to request body cam from HPD. If I want to pay,
you got to pay for it though.
Yeah, if I want to pay $50 for it, and then it says that I can't post it online.
Yeah,
I feel like that's unconstitutional.
Well, the Constitution doesn't. There was no mention of body cams in the Constitution.
Well, yeah, I mean,
well, you kind of got to think you're paying for it twice.
Right.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think that. I think that body cam footage should be readily available to citizens. I just think it should be. I mean,
I agree.
It's one of those things.
Well, more times than not, it's been used to exonerate officers, not convict them.
Right. I mean, it's used a lot for that, and but don't you notice how quick that shit comes out when it exonerates officers?
Well, imagine
you realize
if the officer that killed Michael Brown had to shoot Michael Brown. Imagine if he'd had a body cam. You know what I mean? Because the majority of his whole story was bullshit. The hands up, don't shoot thing was a complete lie. And if he'd just had a body cam.
Well, I mean, body cams are there to protect the officer and to protect the citizens. And the simple fact is all police officers should have them. There should be some very strict rules. They shouldn't be able to just mute them, turn them off, all the shit like you see sometimes. And it should be readily available to citizens. I mean, it's just the right thing to do. I mean, because
the best disinfectant.
Well, right, because if I get stopped for a simple speeding ticket, that dash cam footage can be brought by law enforcement and used against me.
Yeah.
But God forbid, if that cop stops me and is an asshole and I try to get a copy of that, they ain't going to give it to me.
Right.
And that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I'm 100% behind law enforcement, but I'm 100% behind accountability and civil rights. So, because you can have it all. You can have it all. I'm telling you. You can have good cops. You can get rid of the bad ones. You can have people like me that respect what you do in law enforcement, but don't treat me like a dick.
Well, and there's still a lot of good ones that's still out there doing it, because like all those sheriffs in Illinois that said they were not going to enforce that new gun law that passed there.
Yeah,
and told the governor, "No, we're not going to enforce that." And it to me that was a good stand for the Second Amendment and the Constitution.
Yeah,
these tyrannical governments and Gavin Newsom, for that matter, is the same. You know, they're trying to limit capacity of magazines, trying to limit what guns you can and can't buy, or that you have to register now. Trying to create a registry.
I know.
Nah,
It's all bullshit. But thank you, Alabama legislature and Governor Ivey, for this new law, which sadly shouldn't have had to be a law anyway. But they had to undo some shit with this law, and so constitutional carry. I do have a couple of quick questions for you fellas on what you think about something. So, Adam, do you think it's gonna increase gun violence in Alabama?
No, I think it'll decrease it. Because I think when the criminals are running around with mainly the only ones with guns because everybody else is not carrying, of course the crime is going to be high in gun violence. But if everybody's got the gun and the playing field has leveled, you're a little bit more reluctant to pull out a gun and do any dumb shit like the dude in Taqueria in Texas. Because he pulled out a gun, fucked up, and the guy that was concealed carrying sitting in that booth jumped out and dropped his ass, and then put around in his head to make sure he wasn't a threat anymore, and then got his shit together, gave everybody their stuff back, and left. Which I think he should have stayed up because he was completely covered under the law in Texas for self-defense. But
so
did you want to see this real quick?
I saw it, but I want to save that. I want to save
Okay,
that.
fair enough.
So Steve, tell me this: constitutional carry in Alabama, being able to carry a weapon on you, in you, beside you, in your car, whatever, without the requirement for a permit. Do you think that's going to increase officer-involved shootings?
No. It's actually going to help. And the reason I say that is because when I was down in Arizona, I was down in Phoenix. I was actually spending a little bit of time with an officer down there. I was talking with him, and obviously I didn't have my gun with me, but I did show him my carry permit. And he was telling me that Arizona is a constitutional carry state. You do not need carry permits. You can conceal carry. You can open carry. You can have a gun in your car. You can walk down the street with an AR-15. You can do anything you want. It's 100% legal. And he said he prefers it that way because you never know who has a gun on them. And generally, the people who are abiding by that law are law-abiding citizens. They're not there to cause any trouble. They're not there to rob a bank. They're not there to stick up, another citizen. I think it should be nationwide. It should be reciprocal over all continental 48 states. And that's the way I feel as though it should be. Because if I'm driving my car and I go into New Jersey, for example, and I get carjacked, I want to be able to defend myself because I can't go to New Jersey with a gun. You cannot. If you go into New Jersey with a gun, it's a mandatory 1 year in jail for the gun. If you have a full metal jacket round, in my case, if I have 9 rounds in my gun, it's 1 year per bullet on top of that 1 year for the gun. If I have hollow points, it's 5 years per bullet.
Jesus Christ.
That's the way New Jersey works. Now, if you live in New Jersey, you can apply for a carry permit in New Jersey, but it takes 4 months to get that permit approved before they actually think about giving you a 24-hour carry permit. It's only good for 24 hours at that point.
Oh,
if
my
it's
Lord.
24 hours,
do you have to go through like firearms courses or firearms safety courses and all that stuff to even do it?
No, I don't know about that in New Jersey.
Well, here's part of my fear. I'm all for the constitutional carry, right? Here's my downside thought to it. I'm concerned that so the Terry stop being able to pat somebody down when you have reasonable suspicion to believe they may be armed.
Yeah.
Here's my fear. Now every officer in Alabama knows that concealed carry permits are not required. So are courts going to start considering it reasonable that they suspect everybody might be armed. So how many of us are going to get patted down just because?
Well, at that point, you would want
Start
to
using
tell
it as an
the
advantage for
officer,
their
"Hey,
case.
I am carrying concealed," or whatever the case may be.
Well, but that's the thing. The law says you don't have to tell them unless they ask.
Right.
I do agree with you. It's best practice to tell them ahead of time. The quicker, the better, so that you don't get shot because they think you're reaching for it when you're just trying to get your driver's license or whatever. But I'm concerned that it's gonna have more people searched on the side of the street.
Yeah. Well, I think the best argument for the constitutional carry is if you ever look at how many police officers there are per individual by state. And then remember that 64% of those individuals are considered mentally ill. And then that's an insane number when you look at it and think, oh, I got one cop going to defend me from 200 something people. You know, I'd rather have my own weapon for that.
Well, and not just that. I mean, let's talk logistics, right? Let's talk reality, right? You're in a dark parking lot and somebody comes up and they're bound and determined they're going to rob you and take your car or kill you, so you can't describe them to law enforcement. Are the cops going to be able to save your life?
No.
Probably
It's taking
not.
too long to get there.
For a couple of reasons. Yeah, one, you're in the middle of a fight for your life. You can't pick up the phone and be like, "Help me, somebody's going to be robbing me in 5 minutes. Can you send an officer?" The shit's happening right now. All right. Then you've got, so here in Huntsville, you call 911, you get a 911 operator on the phone. They're keying information into the computer system, right? For a dispatcher who is then talking to law enforcement. So you're talking to one person on the phone, they're typing, somebody else is talking to the officer. There's some delay in communication there, right? Not to mention, it's easy for people to misunderstand. It's easy to send them to the wrong address. Is it such and such drive? Is it such and such street? Sometimes there's two different ones in two different parts of town. You can have, Madison Street and Madison Drive, Madison Boulevard, Old Madison Pike. I mean, there's a lot of similar sounding names. So the chances of an officer arriving in time to save you in a life-threatening situation is slim. It's not because they don't want to. It's because it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
And so I'm
well, and now most people stand around with their phone out recording shit going down versus stopping some shit from going down.
So here's to Governor Ivey and the legislature for passing this law. I do appreciate it. If we get patted down now, just because, be mindful of that Fourth Amendment also out there, officers. You still got to have some reasonable suspicion that I may be armed, but the reasonable suspicion for the Terry frisk is very low. And so it's very easy to jump that hurdle and to pat somebody down. I mean, when I get out to film an area, a lot of times I put my cigarette pack in my left front pocket where there's a bulge in my pocket, could be a weapon. Boom, I'm patted down. And how you gonna argue that?
Right.
You had a bulge in your pocket, it might have been a weapon. Judge is gonna side with the officers on that. So I mean, it's gonna be problems on both sides. The officers are gonna have issues. Curve. Oh, there is. There definitely is.
Well, it's like, so I pulled up this stat and it shows how many police officers per citizen by state. In Alabama, there are 416 people per police officer. And that is insane to me. So when you let me pull out my calculator. Let's see how many people that'd be for the police officer to handle. To stand between the innocents and the crime ridden.
Yeah, Mr. Wizard says, how many second streets are there in the U.S.? I know, man. There's a lot.
266 people for each police officer.
Really?
That
That's
are
just
crazy.
in.
That are well, I shouldn't say crazy. That are mentally defected.
Yeah, that have some kind of mental illness.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody that goes to get a gun in this country feels that they need to go through a medical eval, not a medical eval, a psychiatric eval. And if they have any issues, they shouldn't be allowed to own a gun.
Well, see, in that case, like when you say mentally defective, it's also including depression. You know, a lot of people suffer from depression. It's probably
well, I mean that's a big
ADHD is a mental disorder.
What I mean by that, I should probably clarify. I'm not talking about depression. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm like somebody who is mentally incompetent. They can't do the proper things, or somebody who's immediately going to fly off the handle and pull a gun out in any little tiny situation.
They
gave me a small drink instead of a large.
Yeah, lose all their shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's several people. There's several disorders that are emotional disorders that fall under that.
People really do need to be vetted. But then again, when you go to the gun shows and you buy a gun,
but now who's to say
go
you don't
through
get
the
a
background check and
but who's to
all that
say
stuff.
you don't get a doctor that hates fucking AR-15s and ain't nobody getting one from him, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What's the
It becomes too subjective at that point, right? I mean, I agree that there's some people that should not own a weapon. You know, convicted felons, you know, being one of them, I'm fine with that. But you got to be careful. You slowly slice away the Second Amendment, and we're back to, you know, you can't have you can't have a gun that has more than 4 bullets in it. You know, or you can have a gun, but it can't have but 1 bullet. You know, it's got to be it's got to be a
that's like that
ball load and all that.
It's like that. Did y'all see that episode of that? Well, it's been all over the place. But Geraldo Rivera talking about when they wrote the Second Amendment, he pulls out a fucking musket. It's like, yeah, dickhead. That's the same thing the military had at the time. Can I get an M16, fucker? Because that's what they got now. I'd love to have one.
You can get one,
dickhead. Just the stupidity from people just blow my fucking mind.
I know it. And I mean, and that's the thing. You can't. I mean, there does have to be some interpretation of the Constitution, because, I mean, when the Constitution was written, we didn't have the shit we have now. There was no iPhones. There was no surveillance cameras. There was no body cameras. There were no semi-automatic weapons. You know,
there also wasn't an ATF.
Fuck, there wasn't electricity.
Me personally, I think they should abolish the ATF. And I think they could roll that into other agencies and just completely do away with it.
Probably so. That's the whole thing there. There's a whole lot of ATF bullshit going on right now too. But I got to get off here, gentlemen. My throat is killing me. I'm gonna have to get down there and figure out what's going on. Any parting thoughts before we head out?
If you don't own one, get one. Carry it.
I carry mine every day.
Yes, you're right.
Every day I carry it. I don't leave the house without it.
Exercise your rights.
Now, as a disclaimer, we are talking about constitutional carry is now legal in Alabama, in the state of Alabama. I don't know what the laws are where you may be living. You need to check those yourself. But here in Alabama, you don't have to have a permit to carry a weapon concealed any longer. But there are some other requirements. Now, you can't just bust up in the courthouse with the fucking pistol in your pocket and all that stuff. So we're still, even if you live in Alabama, research your laws. Don't do nothing stupid. And if you do something stupid, don't try to blame it on this show, because that's all you.
There's still restrictions.
That's all you. Yeah, there's still some restrictions there. And don't be an asshole. You know, have some sense if you're going to pack a weapon, for fuck's sake. Don't
take it to a school.
Yeah, and don't pull it out. Don't just pull it out because somebody pisses you off. If you pull that weapon, it better be to defend you or somebody else.
Yeah,
not to end a fight.
Yeah,
but to end a life-threatening situation. So don't fuck up with it. But anyway, I'm gonna head on down there and get me a little ice cream or something, try to soothe my throat, because ice cream's good for that.
I thought Strombolis were good for that too. I'm going to go get one of them.
Enjoy. But anyhow, that's going to do it for us, fellas. We'll see y'all.
See y'all next week.
We'll see all you ladies and gentlemen next week. What is the date next week? It is the 12th. 2 days before my birthday. Maybe we'll have a big birthday celebration or something. I don't know. I might hang me a balloon up back here or something. But anyhow, y'all have a good one, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See y'all later.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here I'm screaming. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking on me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best.